Okay guys, so in this video, I'm going to read the first section of A Sound of Thunder. Now this is especially important if you didn't make it to the video call this morning. So the first thing that we talked about was the author of this story is a guy named Ray Bradbury. Now Ray Bradbury likes to write about things that we like to call dystopian futures, which the easiest way to think of it is a future where everything goes wrong. So when we look at dystopian futures, we're looking at things like The Walking Dead. We're looking at things like The Hunger Games or Maze Runner, which I know are some things that you guys have seen. So he likes to write about that kind of thing where something kind of turns the future around and everything goes bad. And they usually are supposed to serve as warnings for the way that we behave in the current time. Okay? So we look at the opening of our story. So right on page 1. The sign on the wall seemed to quaver under the film of sliding warm water. Eccles felt his eyelids blink over his stare, and the sign burned in this momentary darkness. Time Safari Incorporated. Safaris to any year in the past. You name the animal, we take you there, you shoot it. A warm phlegm gathered in Eccles' throat. He swallowed and pushed it down. The muscles around his mouth formed a smile as he put his hand slowly out upon the air, and in that hand waved a check for $10,000 to the man behind the desk. Does this safari guarantee I come back alive? We guarantee nothing, said the official, except the dinosaurs. He turned. This is Mr. Travis, your safari guide in the past. He'll tell you what and where to shoot. If he says no shooting, no shooting. If you disobey instructions, there's a stiff penalty of another $10,000, plus possible government action on your return. Now let's go over that little part before we move on. So first, we have this guy Eccles, which I kind of said in the video, if you guys call him something else with an E, as long as you're consistent, I'm okay. So he's over there, and he's kind of staring at this sign, right? He's just looking at it. And he says that when he closes his eyes, he can kind of feel it burning behind his eyelids still. He's swallowing down this phlegm in his throat, and we were kind of talking about how that might characterize him, right? So think about the way that we would think of a person who we see doing that. They're swallowing repetitively. They're kind of staring at something and what that makes us think. Then we look at the sign itself and we have Time Safari Incorporated. Safaris to any year. So not to anywhere, to any year. So we immediately know we're dealing with some kind of time travel. You name the animal, we take you there, you shoot it. So it's a safari where they take you back in time somewhere. You get to pick out a kind of animal that you want to kill. And you get to shoot it. So it's kind of like rich people trophy hunting with time travel. Now, first question was, does this guarantee I come back alive? He's waving the check at the guy. And he's like, is this going to guarantee I come back alive? The guy's like, guarantee nothing. All we guarantee is dinosaurs. And if you don't listen, we charge you double. You're going to pay another $10,000 fine. Eccles glanced across the vast office at a mass and tangle, a snaking and humming of wires and steel boxes, at an aura that flickered now orange, now silver, now blue. There was a sound like a gigantic bonfire burning all of time. All the years and all the parchment calendars, all the hours piled high and set aflame. A touch of the hand and this burning would, on the instant, beautifully reverse itself. Eccles remembered the wording in the advertisement to the letter. Out of chars and ashes, out of dust and cold, like golden salamanders, the old years, the green years might leap. Roses sweeten the air. White hair turned Irish black, wrinkles vanish. All, everything fly back to seed, flee death, rush down to their beginnings. Sun rises in western skies and sets in glorious east. Moons eat themselves opposite to the custom. All and everything cupping one in another like Chinese boxes, rabbits into hats. all and everything returning to the fresh death, the seed death, the green death to the time before the beginning. A touch of hand might do it, the merest touch of a hand. So that section is all this imagery dealing with this idea of time travel, right? They're talking about the beauty of time travel, how things go backwards, and they kind of represent it as a kind of death. If I take a plant and I shrink it all the way back down to a seed, then I shrink that seed back out of existence. Is that new life or is that death? I took it and I made it back to the beginning. But they're also kind of going with this inherent beauty of watching things go backwards, wrinkles vanishing, going from gray hair back to dark, right? So they're dealing with this time travel thing in both ways. It's both beautiful and terrifying at once. Hell and damn, Eccles breathed, the light of the machine on his thin face. A real-time machine. He shook his head. Makes you think. If the election had gone badly yesterday, I might be here now running away from the results. Thank God Keith won. He'll make a fine president of the United States. Yes, said the man behind the desk. We're lucky. If Dewchester 1 had gotten in, we'd have the worst kind of dictatorship. There's an anti-everything man for you. A militarist, anti-Christ, anti-human, anti-intellectual. People called us up, you know, joking but not joking. Said if Dewchester became president, they'd want to go live in 1492. Of course, it's not our business to conduct escapes, but to and from safaris. Anyway, Keith's president now. All you got to worry about is shooting my dinosaur. Eccles finished it for him. That is halfway through page 2. So what I just read, that last section, since I kind of stopped and talked about it, they give us a very clear setting. So I talk about Keith won and he'll make a good president of the United States. So we now know exactly where they are. They are in the U.S. because they just voted for president. They're in an election year. And the guy that they wanted to won. So sometime in the future, there's an election. This guy Keith wins. Now they say that it would have been terrible if the other guy Dewchester won. They say that he would be a dictator, that he's a militarist, which we probably recognize from the word military, so all he cares about is the military. And they say he's anti-everything. He's anti-religion, he's anti-social rights, he is anti-humanitarian, he's anti-intellectual, he's just all about who's the strongest, who has the most power. And he says that he had gotten calls from people saying if the other guy had won, that they would want to go back in time to 1492 to go to the very beginning of people first coming to America to try to stop this guy from winning. So that is how important it was that this guy lost. He would just be the downfall, right? And then they end with saying, oh, but you don't have to care about that. He lost. All you have to care about is shooting your dinosaur, right? And that is where I'm going to leave you guys. So answer the question. If you were in the video chat this morning, so we're 8 of you, then you only have to answer with 1 to 2 sentences. If you were not in the video chat, I need 4 sentences. Thank you.